Raider Nation, what's going on? They got some breaking news here. The Las Vegas Raiders have signed former Patriots wide receiver to a 3-year, $33 million deal. Jakobi Meyers joins the Silver and Black. It is a $21 million deal guaranteed. 3 years, $33 million, coming off one of his best career seasons. And realistically, when you look at Meyers, he's a big-time slot receiver. This is another player that you know has got good relationship with Josh McDaniels, with Dave Ziegler from his past time, and it really should not surprise anybody that this regime is going to bring in previous players that, guess what, they have played with or that they have coached, because it just seems like, whether you like to hear this or not, the Las Vegas Patriots, the New England Raiders, however you want to say it with this new regime, that seems to be the route that they are going forward. So you know that the Raiders brought in Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday, and now they're bringing in Jakobi Meyers on that 3-year, $33 million deal with $21 million guaranteed. My question to everyone out there, and I want you to scale it from 1 to 10, what's your confidence level right now in Josh McDaniels? What's your confidence level in Dave Ziegler? What's your confidence level in this overall staff being able to build this team to the ultimate goal, which is essentially trying to win a Lombardi trophy? Right now, I would say my confidence level in this regime is pretty low. It's probably be around a 2 or a 3, if I'm being honest. And it's not that I don't think that Jakobi Meyers' deal is actually a good deal. Like, if you would have told me Jakobi Meyers signs to almost any other team out there to 3 years, $33 million with $21 million guaranteed, I'd be like, that's a good deal. There were many people out there that I respect, many people that I talked to that thought he was going to get $15, $16 million per year because he's a good special teams player. He is a big-time upgrade over Matt Collins in terms of being a gunner. One of the best free agents, arguably the top free agent wide receiver that was out there. In fact, he was the top wide receiver, I thought, free agent out there. So you get a player like Meyers, again, who can be that good slot receiver. The thing that I'm going to wonder, though, is what does this mean for a player like Hunter Renfrow? What does this mean for the offense in general? Because you have already spent a considerable amount of your cap space on Garoppolo, now on Jakobi Meyers, and I mean, the Raiders have somewhat ignored the defense here a little bit. As it stands right now, this is what the Raiders' wide receiver depth chart looks like, and if it's this going into week 1, where you got Devontae Adams, you got Jakobi Meyers, you got Hunter Renfrow in the slot, you have a dude like Darren Waller, you got a running back like Josh Jacobs. I mean, this team, they are going to be able to put up some points. They are going to be a very successful offense overall because of the amount of talent that they have. However, though, you can score 30 points, 35 points per game. We've seen this. This has been the same song, same dance for a while. It's a really good offense. If you ignore the defense, though, if you don't give Jimmy Garoppolo a top 15 defense, I don't care what your offense looks like. That team's going to struggle. Jimmy Garoppolo needs an elite defense, and he's going to really need some extra help. We'll see what the Raiders decide to do. Now, I want to say good morning to everyone out there. I know Jeremy and I literally struggle bust our way into today's live show, but our job here is to have that commitment to excellence, and I hope that you all know that. If you love the Raiders and you want to hang out with the nation, subscribe for more free Raiders videos. When there's breaking news, we go live. It sounds like Jugs and I are going to be live basically all day today. We were live for over 10 hours yesterday, and we're going to be here. We're going to be hanging out with the nation, and I do think that the Jakobi Meyers move, he fits the offense. He fits all of that. But the real question is, would you rather them spend $11 million per year on another wide receiver, or would you have rather taken that $11 million and would you have rather put that to the defensive side of the football? I do think a lot of Raider fans would have said defense. This also screams to me that with their 11 draft picks in the 2023 NFL draft, it is going to be a lot, and I mean a lot, of defense, which it is a very good defensive draft. Now, some of the other moves here that the Las Vegas Raiders made, at least yesterday, they brought in Jimmy Garoppolo to a 3-year, $67.5 million deal. And the way that this contract is broken down, I want most Raider fans to think, okay, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the Raiders starting quarterback for the next 2 seasons. His cap hit this season, which is actually at $16.3 million, if you would have told me the Raiders signed Jimmy Garoppolo to a 1-year deal at $16.3 million, I'd be like, all right, they're going to draft a QB, they're going to have that young QB learn underneath Garoppolo, and then they're going to hand the keys over to the car. The problem is, though, in 2024, Garoppolo's cap hit is at $28 million. And if you were to cut Jimmy Garoppolo, according to Over the Cap, you eat basically $8 million. I don't see the Raiders cutting Garoppolo next season, eating $18.8. So to me, you're either going to have Garoppolo as your starting quarterback next season at $28 million, or he's going to be your backup at $28 million. Or you could cut him at $18.8 million. It's a lot of money. In 2025, though, then you can get out of that contract, and then that's where you can save essentially $24.3 million by moving on for Garoppolo. So this is going to be your starting quarterback for the next 2 years. The other move that the Raiders made yesterday, and this is probably my favorite move that they've made so far, very underrated signing. It's Marcus Epps, safety. They were interested in going out and getting Jordan Poyer. Poyer cost a little bit more money. And again, if you would have told me $11 million for Jordan Poyer or $11 million for Jakobi Meyers, I would have taken $11 million for Poyer, which, yeah, maybe it would have been a little bit of an overpay for Poyer, and it's a little bit of an underpay for Meyers, but this team needs defensive help. However, though, with Epps, the reason why I like this move, 2 years, $12 million, $8 million guaranteed. He's going to be now your starting safety next to Trevon Merrick. He led the Philadelphia Eagles, who arguably had the best defense in all the NFL last season, in total snaps played. He is a good run stopper. He's coming off a little bit of a down year in terms of coverage, according to PFF. But when you look at what he has been able to put on the field over the last 3 seasons for the Philadelphia Eagles, he's been a solid player. And so far, from an overall contract value standpoint, I do think Epps, this move, is a solid one. The other move that the Raiders made yesterday that not a lot of people were really talking about was Brandon Faison. So we still actually don't have the contract details to that one yet. He was a player that played with the Silver and Black back in 2021 on the Gus Bradley defense, and he did an okay job. Got a few starts, I believe 9 of those starts. Ended up starting 4 games last season for Indianapolis, so he went from with Gus Bradley in 2021, back over to 2022. The one thing that I do respect about him is he's a good depth player. Good depth player that's going to be a tough guy, and that's what he goes out there and do. He's going to battle it out. The Raiders, to me, still need another starting corner, which it sounds like to me their plan is going to be drafting a cornerback in the 2023 NFL draft, because this year the draft is really, really deep. Cornerback's the top spot, deepest position in the draft. My next question is, though, what does this team decide to do at defensive tackle? Because that is still a big-time need. So we decided to go live here again, y'all, around the news of the Las Vegas Raiders signing Jakobi Meyers. Big-time slot receiver at 6'2", 200 pounds. And if the Raiders decide to go with this offense where you got 3 very legit wide receivers, and then you go and you say, all right, then you also got to try to account for Darren Waller. Then you also got to try to account for a guy like Josh Jacobs. I know that a lot of Raider fans aren't crazy about the Meyers deal, but this is a very, very stacked offense. I kind of laugh here a little bit because Meyers is also the player, for those that don't know, last season when the Raiders played the New England Patriots, Meyers was the one that threw it to Chandler Jones, which led to a touchdown, and, we had a hell of a time, I know that. But the other thing that I do want to bring up here is this. There's been some rumors out there, and there's been some teams that have at least called the Raiders and said, hey, what are you interested in moving on from Renfrow? I got told by a pretty good source this morning that he believes that this move by Jakobi Meyers signing with the Raiders means that the Silver and Black could potentially actually trade Hunter Renfrow. We'll see if that goes down. It would save them a little bit of money in terms of, some money, I guess. If they were to trade Hunter Renfrow, it would be a $7.3 million dead cap hit, and they would save $5.8 mil. So you would get $5.8 mil extra back in terms of money saved, but you are still eating quite a bit of money. My question to you is this. What would you want in return for Hunter Renfrow? Because as soon as I saw this deal go down, my initial thought goes, oh, shit. Are the Raiders going to trade Hunter Renfrow? Let me know, though, what you guys are thinking. All right, so again, we are here live on YouTube if you're watching this at a later date. Good morning to everyone out there. Jeremy Jugs and I, we are going to be live essentially all day on the Raiders Report here, and we could see maybe even some different routes here with Meyers switching it in. There's some people inside the Raiders organization that think that Meyers could also play a little bit of tight end because he's 6'2", 200. I don't know if that's the route I would go because he's very thin and can't really block. But at the end of the day, we'll see how this Raiders team decides to build the defense because they still need a little bit of help. Friendly reminder, though, with 2023 NFL free agency, very important to hit me up. Follow me, Twitter, Instagram. I'm going to do my best to keep you guys up to date there. Locals, I'll keep you up to date as well because, let's face it, it's going to be a crazy week. I promise you all this, though. I am going to try to do a better job to be more positive. I'm going to hope that Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels are cooking up something else to make this team better going forward. The offense looks really good. The defense, though, is still a major, major concern for a lot of Raider Nation.